Mr. Alator, my name is Tyler Hoffman, and this is my fourth speech. Hello, everybody. Today I will be informing you all on what the next recession is going to be looking like and how, as college students, we can prepare for it in the coming future. When understanding a recession, it's important to notice that there are three key trends that determine whether or not a recession is going to be good, bad, or moderate. The first thing to look at are what are known as the housing market. The housing market is simply put what conglomerates of housing investment in all and throughout the American nation. When determining the overall effectiveness of a recession based on the housing market, it's important to look at whether the housing market is stalling, it's growing, or deflating. If it's deflating, you can tell a recession is going to happen and it's going to be bad. The second determinant of a recession of whether or not it's going to be bad is to look at the stock market. The stock market is basically the New York Stock Exchange and its overall effectiveness determining throughout the nation. When looking at the stock market, it's important to look at three things within the stock market. You want to first look at the equities based on the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is simply put kind of like the basic standard for stock markets, growth or failure, that kind of thing. The second thing to look at is to look at bonds. Bonds are one of the most important things to look at when determining if you can survive a recession because they're the longest lasting form of money you can have throughout a 10-year kind of basis. The third thing to look at is to see whether or not is there a downtrend line. If there is a downtrend line, then you know the recession is going to be quick, it's going to be bad, and it's going to be hard to come back from. So from the stock market, you can see how good it is going to be bad or moderate, that kind of thing. The third thing to look at, and arguably the most important, is the interest rate market. The interest rate market is one of the most determining markets of how the economy is going to do throughout the basis of the recession or depression, whatever you would like to call it. If the interest rate market plateaus, basically meaning it begins to flatten out and determines that the Fed does not want to invest more money into the nation because they don't feel it is a safe market, then you know a recession is on the bound for limits. It's going to come fast, it's going to come hard, and it's going to come painfully. So when determining a recession, you want to find those three things. However, to survive a recession, you want to do these three things. First of all, you want to save as much as you can now to survive it at a later basis. Many economists, based on Deloitte, say that the economy is coming in the next 5 to 10 years, which is a bullish kind of approach, which is basically meaning that it's a very overstated approach. It's going to happen sooner or later, that kind of thing. The second thing to do is to not invest in volatile mutual funds. Mutual funds are a great way to invest your money. However, they can be dangerous and they will hurt you if you do not invest in them properly. Based on what Bloomberg says and a few other economist websites, avoiding volatile mutual funds can benefit you in the long run, not just during a recession, but during expansion phases of the business cycle and recessive phases of the business cycle. The third thing to do is what is called strategic investment. This is basically investing in companies that you know will survive a recession. They will be successful during a recession and will cause the business cycle to revamp itself in the coming years. These companies include Google, Amazon, and recession-resistant companies like ones that are needed for a natural day basis, like Sanofi and a few other health benefit kind of companies. If you invest in these, you know you will survive it, and you know you'll make more money out of it than you know you did before going into it. All in all, it's important to know how the effects of the recession will affect us in the future and coming. By knowing how to survive it, you know how to do better in the economy as a whole. Thank you very much.